So you're still connecting people, but in a different way.
Exactly. We're connecting people and things.
Right.
And it's the and things bit that really is so important, because people don't make phone calls anymore. That's not the reason that they have a mobile phone.
Yeah, that's right.
I have to admit.
Hi, Terence.
Hi.
Welcome to Making the Cut. Thank you so much for joining me today. I'm really excited. We have a really nice conversation in front of us.
It's a pleasure, and always nice to sit in a nice car.
Yes, it is. Shall we go?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Terry, now we're going to talk about everything that is 5G.
Okay.
Right? I mean, there's a kind of a really nice big conversation around it as well. And now we kind of know some of the basics of that, right? Like 5G is 100 times faster than 4G. But from the consumer standpoint, I mean, internet is really kind of like with mobile broadband, it's so fast. You can kind of watch your HD YouTube videos without so much of a lag. And most of the time on the go, you don't need a lot of like kind of big and fast data, right? So, well, not all the time. Although I open a lot of documents and stuff
true.
online, so so tell us a little bit, and also besides that, kind of the servers also might not always be keeping up. So tell us, what is this hype behind 5G?
There's a few things that are going on at the same time, and it really, unfortunately, has confused the consumer.
Okay.
I think one part of it is that 5G, it's a technology, but what you actually experience is dependent upon the amount of spectrum that's been allocated to 5G. Now, here in Singapore, we're doing quite well. We've got good spectrum policy. We've actually got a regulator who's done a great job in pushing for the latest experience of 5G to be available here. But it still takes time to build out indoor coverage, to build out, we've got to a base of coverage, but there's more to come in order to give you consistent 5G experience everywhere on the island and everywhere that you go. Because when you consume data, quite frankly, it's not when you're walking down the sidewalk here.
Yeah.
Well, it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
But it's when you're in the subway. It's when you're in a building, when you're having a coffee, when you open documents. Yeah. Those are the places that people actually consume more data. So when you start with the network and you build out the general coverage, you're actually only doing a part of what you need to do to give that full 5G experience.
Thinking about kind of having or that kind of connectivity within, let's say, for example, your products. So like, for example, BMW has said that they are going to equip more cars in the future with 5G connectivity, and they've said that it provides kind of, enhanced innovations. It enhances your entertainment, autonomous driving, as well as road safety. Right, so how important or imperative is 5G when it comes to kind of the automobile industry, the development of automobile industry, and especially when it comes to autonomous vehicles?
The first piece about that is autonomous vehicles are autonomous.
Yeah.
So they must be safe and they must work without 5G connectivity or any connectivity.
Okay.
It just wouldn't be safe to have vehicles that were being controlled from a data center here in the city.
Right.
But if you think about all the ways that a vehicle interacts with its environment, if you have vehicle-to-vehicle communication and the braking activity of the car in front can be coordinated with this vehicle, and traffic crossings and traffic lights interact with the vehicle, you don't speed up and slow down.
I see.
You synchronize your speed with the traffic around you. Perhaps you move closer to the vehicle in front of you to reduce wind resistance, but you do it safely because you've got coordination, communication between the vehicles. Now, if you lose that, or if the vehicle in front doesn't have 5G and doesn't support the standards, then you're going to drop back further from that vehicle. You have to have a mode of operation that will work without the network, but when the network's there, you can optimize, make it cleaner, greener, make it more efficient, get more cars on a given piece of road and do it safely. And the other piece about 5G is in the manufacturing of the vehicle in the first place. The technology of the
supply chain,
management, and the configurable, flexible manufacturing plants that companies are investing in because they want to be able to reconfigure their factory without having to recable it every time. They want to be able to move the machines around. They want to be able to track the assets.
Yes. That is really interesting because you're talking about a supply chain management. So even from the point of manufacturing all the way, like the entire life cycle of the product, right? And even to the consumer level as well. So I'll give you an example. For example, BMW has a new innovation hub in Germany. And they basically tap on 5G connectivity to automate their service vehicles, and they use kind of a blockchain-based system where they can trace anything from critical raw material or the supplies. And like we're saying, the entire kind of supply chain management is being tracked, and even the people probably who worked in it, the prices and things like that, which makes the company, of course, more transparent and more accountable, right? Which is fantastic.
And more agile.
Exactly, and more agile. So how important is it for businesses to take advantage of 5G, and how can they leverage this 5G connectivity better?
I think it's happening already in industries like automotive. In capital intensive industries, you're seeing 5G being used because of its reliability, because of the characteristics of valuable assets that you can track and that you can monitor. You need practitioners. You need people, if you're going to put a network in a campus, you're going to put a network in a manufacturing plant, then you need the local carrier maybe, or some other third party who's going to bring that technology and install it the same way they install Wi-Fi in a building today. But they need to be familiar with it, and there needs to be a volume to build up that practice. So that's happening. We see it happening around the world. We're leading the charge on a lot of this private and industrial implementation of mobile network technology.
I wanted to kind of ask you about this from Nokia's standpoint, right? So now you're implementing and installing more cell-based stations around Singapore.
Yeah.
Tell us, what is the significance of this? Like, what can users expect from this upgrade? And tell us a little bit more about why this is important to Nokia as well.
That really is what I mentioned earlier, this idea that your 5G coverage needs to follow you everywhere. Yeah. It needs to go in building. The other piece is extending the coverage footprint into some of these places, such as the ports, such as manufacturing, where you wouldn't build consumer networks.
Right.
And the one that I would highlight here, because it is particular to Singapore, is maritime coverage.
Oh yes, of course.
Part of the digital
Very
blueprint.
Important for us, yeah.
Exactly. And it's already, there are some services that are being rolled out already targeting the sailors and the ships in the areas off the coast. Okay. So 5G coverage isn't just being built out here on the island, it's reaching out from the coast. This is, Nokia's message is that networks are the fundamental of digitizing society. And whether it's the public good or the profitability of a business or public safety or environmental monitoring, networks, whether they're fiber networks or mobile networks, are critical. And we deliver those solutions, and we try to work with the consumers of that networking to enhance the products in ways that make them more relevant.
year at the World Mobile Congress, there was this introduction or talk, or we've heard about it, about 6G, right? And that it will be ready by 2024. So here's my question to you. Should we just take the leap to 6G? I mean, I know that, for each generation, like the new generation of 5G depends on 4, 3, 2, and 1. But now that 6G is around the corner, when can we expect it in Singapore? And like I said, should we just take the leap to 6G?
I can't advise that because 6G, the standards for 6G won't be finalized before 2028, 2029.
Okay.
Yeah, we had demonstrations of 6G technology on our stand at Mobile World Congress.
Right.
Other people did as well. Well, they had slideware, we had demos, but these are candidate technologies. These are the technologies that are being injected into the standards making process.
Right.
And as such, it's great that we've got research showing us the direction 6G will take.
Okay.
But it is not ready yet. When 6G comes, the standards are being written at the moment, but some of the things that will come with that is 6G is what I would call a hierarchy of networks.
Okay.
It's not just about terrestrial networks like 3G, 4G, 5G have been. It's including non-terrestrial networks.
Oh.
So direct satellite communication. Now you
Right.
see the beginnings of that today.
Yes.
Nokia is involved in some of that.
So you're involved in space as well?
We're involved in space.
Excellent.
We hope to put
Something I'm really interested in.
We hope to put an LTE network on the moon later this year.
Oh, wow. That's something we definitely have to have a conversation about, for sure.
There's huge things happening in space, but with 6G, what you're going to have is much better coordination between terrestrial networks and space networks, so that when you're out of the coverage footprint, you will roam to a space-based network.
Oh wow!
So there won't be a location on the surface of the planet that doesn't have basic broadband coverage. We're not far away from that.
I mean, it's so interesting how just talking to you see that like this goes beyond just a faster network.
Yes.
There's just so much more in terms of application, in terms of interaction with our human, with our environment, with space. I mean, there's just so much, excitement that's ahead of us, and Nokia is obviously, or Nokia, whichever way you pronounce it.
Either way, perfectly good.
Right at the center of it, so
we are,
amazing.
and I think Singapore is going to be at the center of it also. Singapore's digital blueprint that was recently released.
Yes.
I look at that and I can overlay what we do on
fantastic.
that, and I think few countries have such a clear, well-defined vision of what the government needs to do to help enable this. Because there's so much in the area of regulation where we need a well-regulated industry. We need regulation, but we need it to be responsive to the changes that come. And that often is the barrier to innovation and progress.
Amazing. Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, thank you. And I hope you've enjoyed the ride along the way.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry about the traffic.
Oh, no, it's okay. I think we've cleared that now. So let's bring you back home.
Okay.
Thank you, Terence. Thank you so much for making the cut.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.